How do two princes navigate the loss of their mother when that loss belongs not just to them but to the world? For Prince William and Prince Harry, Princess Diana was more than a mother. She was their anchor in a life of privilege and pressure. Her untimely death left them not only grieving but grappling with the immense expectations that came with her legacy. What values from Diana have shaped their choices as adults? How have they honored her memory while facing personal and public challenges? And as their paths diverge, is her influence enough to keep them connected? Let's uncover the answers as we delve into their remarkable journeys. Princess Diana was more than just a royal. She was a mother who cherished her two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, and sought to give them the kind of upbringing she herself might have longed for. She was determined to shield them from the suffocating rigidity of royal life, while giving them experiences that would teach compassion, humility, and the value of connecting with people from all walks of life. This delicate balance became the cornerstone of her relationship with William and Harry, shaping them in ways that would deeply influence the rest of their lives. From a young age, William and Harry were immersed in the public eye. William, as the eldest, bore the added pressure of being the heir to the throne, while Harry, the spare, often felt the weight of comparison. Diana, however, worked tirelessly to ensure her sons experienced life outside the palace gates. She would take them to amusement parks, McDonald's, and even homeless shelters. These outings weren't just escapes from royal protocol, they were lessons. Diana wanted her boys to understand the world's realities, to see that privilege came with responsibility. Yet their idyllic moments with their mother were interspersed with challenges. By the mid-1990s, the world witnessed the dissolution of Diana's marriage to Prince Charles. The turbulence of the separation and the media frenzy that followed exposed William and Harry to a harsh reality few their age could comprehend. They weren't just grappling with their parents' estrangement, but also with the relentless intrusion of the press. For Diana, this scrutiny was especially brutal, as tabloids spun narratives that painted her life in extremes, either the saintly princess or the troubled royal. Then came the devastating night of August 31st, 1997. Diana's death in a Paris car crash shattered not only her family but also millions around the globe who had come to see her as a beacon of hope and kindness. For William, then 15, and Harry, just 12, the loss was incomprehensible. Their mother, their confidant, protector, and guiding light was gone. The days that followed were surreal. The young princes were thrust into the spotlight in ways no children should ever experience. As the world mourned, their grief became a public spectacle. Walking behind Diana's coffin during the funeral procession remains one of the most haunting images of modern royal history. The weight of the crown wasn't on their heads yet, but it was on their shoulders, as millions looked to them as symbols of strength and continuity. Despite the support of their father, Prince Charles, and their grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, life after Diana was profoundly altered. The loss of their mother left a void that no amount of royal duty could fill. As they grew older, William and Harry coped in markedly different ways. William, often described as stoic and composed, focused on his responsibilities as the future king. Harry, on the other hand, struggled more openly, grappling with anger, confusion, and a deep-seated resentment toward the media. Still, the memory of their mother remained a driving force for both princes. Diana's legacy wasn't just her humanitarian work or her charisma, it was her love and the values she instilled in her sons. For years, William and Harry rarely spoke publicly about their mother, choosing instead to honor her through their actions. But as they transitioned into adulthood, they began to open up, revealing just how profoundly her influence had shaped them. For William, Diana's example informed his approach to leadership. While he embraced the traditions of monarchy, he sought to modernize it, incorporating a sense of warmth and relatability that mirrored his mother's own touch. He championed causes she cared about, from homelessness to mental health, ensuring her spirit lived on in his work. Harry's path was less conventional but equally tied to his mother's memory. Diana had often referred to Harry as her little naughty one, and true to form, he carved out his own identity within the royal framework. His military service, charitable endeavors, and later his decision to step back from royal duties all reflected a desire to honor Diana's principles while living authentically. As the years passed, the brothers began to publicly reflect on their mother's impact. Their candidness was a departure from royal tradition, which often preferred silence over vulnerability. This honesty resonated with the public, who had long revered Diana not just as a princess but as a woman who dared to be human in a world of formality. William and Harry's willingness to share their struggles added another layer to her legacy, a testament to the power of authenticity and emotional openness. The first signs of this came with their involvement in projects like the documentary Diana, Our Mother, Her Life and Legacy. Here, for the first time, the princes spoke openly about their grief, their memories, and the enduring lessons Diana left them. William recalled her sense of humor and her knack for making life feel normal despite its extraordinary context. Harry reflected on her warmth, her spontaneity, and the way she loved without reservation. Yet amidst these fond recollections, there were undercurrents of sorrow and regret. Harry's revelation about their last phone call with Diana was particularly poignant. He described how, as a child caught up in the excitement of play, he had rushed through the conversation, never imagining it would be their final exchange. The weight of that moment, and the knowledge that he couldn't change it, lingered with him for years. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every connection. For William, the loss of his mother deepened his commitment to his role as a father. He often spoke of the lessons he wanted to pass on to his children, drawing from the values Diana had instilled in him. He wanted George, Charlotte, and Louis to know their grandmother, even if only through stories and memories, ensuring that her legacy endured for generations to come. Yet amidst their shared grief, the brothers began to chart different paths. As William grew closer to fulfilling his destiny as the future king, Harry found himself increasingly disillusioned with the constraints of royal life. This divergence would later spark tensions, but in the years immediately following Diana's death, their bond was a source of strength for both. Diana's legacy was more than just her life's work. It was her love, her resilience, and her ability to inspire. For William and Harry, she was a mother who wanted the best for her children, even if it meant challenging centuries-old traditions. Her influence, though invisible, was unmistakable, shaping two princes into men who would carry her spirit into the future. In the years following their mother's death, Prince William and Prince Harry found themselves navigating the complexities of royal life while grappling with the profound grief of her absence. The world watched as the young princes grew up, each carving their path through the immense weight of expectation and the shadow of Diana's legacy. For William, stepping into his role as the future king required a delicate balance. He was often described as the more grounded and composed of the two, characteristics that endeared him to the public and royal traditionalists alike. But beneath this stoicism was a young man deeply affected by the loss of his mother. Diana's influence was evident in his approach to life and his choice to champion causes she cared about, such as homelessness and mental health. While many associated him with the monarchy's future stability, those closest to him saw the softer, more compassionate side instilled in him by Diana's nurturing presence. Harry, on the other hand, wore his emotions more openly. As the spare, his position in the royal family afforded him a degree of freedom, but it also came with its own set of challenges. He struggled with a sense of purpose, often feeling overshadowed by his elder brother and burdened by constant media scrutiny. The loss of Diana, coupled with the relentless tabloid narrative around his life, led to periods of rebellion and self-reflection. Yet, it was during these turbulent years that Harry began to develop his own identity, one that echoed his mother's empathy and determination to connect with people on a personal level. The bond between the brothers, though strong, was also tested during this time. As William shouldered the responsibilities of preparing for his future as king, Harry sought solace in experiences outside the royal fold, such as his military service. The army provided him with a sense of discipline and camaraderie, offering an escape from the pressures of royal life. Serving in Afghanistan was a defining chapter for Harry, showcasing his bravery and commitment to causes greater than himself. It also reinforced the lessons Diana had imparted, namely that privilege comes with an obligation to serve and understand the struggles of others. As the princes matured, their individual paths began to diverge, but their shared commitment to honoring Diana remained a constant. They continued to support charitable causes in her name, including organizations aimed at helping children, advancing mental health awareness, and addressing homelessness. These efforts not only preserved Diana's legacy, but also allowed them to process their grief in ways that resonated with her humanitarian values. By the time they reached their late 20s and early 30s, both William and Harry had begun to open up about the profound impact their mother had on their lives. In a rare and deeply personal interview, William described how Diana's death had left a void, one that he was still learning to navigate as a husband and father. He credited her with shaping his approach to parenting, emphasizing the importance of providing a stable and loving environment for his own children. The Duke of Cambridge often spoke about the joy he found in family life, drawing parallels between his parenting style and the way Diana had nurtured him and Harry. Harry's reflections on Diana, though equally heartfelt, often carried a sense of unresolved pain. He spoke candidly about his struggles with mental health, revealing how bottling up his emotions for years had taken a toll. In a move that broke with royal tradition, Harry sought professional help and became a vocal advocate for mental health awareness. His openness resonated with many, shining a light on the often overlooked emotional toll of public life. It was yet another way in which Diana's legacy lived on, through her son's willingness to embrace vulnerability and advocate for change. The public's interest in the brothers' lives remained unwavering, but it wasn't just their royal duties that captured attention. Their romantic relationships also became focal points, offering glimpses into the men they had become. For William, meeting Catherine Middleton marked a turning point. The couple's courtship, which began during their university years, was characterized by mutual respect and shared values. Catherine's warmth and poise complemented William's more reserved nature, and their marriage in 2011 was celebrated as a modern fairy tale. Together, they built a family that reflected the stability and compassion Diana had always wanted for her sons. Harry's journey to finding love was more unconventional, but no less significant. His relationship with Meghan Markle, an American actress and humanitarian, introduced a new dynamic to the royal family. The couple's whirlwind romance captivated the public, but it also highlighted the challenges of being a royal in the modern age. Meghan's entrance into the royal fold was met with intense scrutiny, much of it reminiscent of the media's treatment of Diana. For Harry, this parallel was deeply unsettling. Protecting Meghan and their growing family became a priority, ultimately leading to their decision to step back from royal duties in 2020. This decision, often referred to as Megxit, marked a turning point in Harry's life and his relationship with the monarchy. While it was seen by some as a betrayal of royal traditions, others viewed it as an act of self-preservation and a reflection of Diana's own struggles within the institution. Harry and Meghan's departure to the United States allowed them to carve out a new chapter, one that prioritized personal well-being and the causes they held dear. Despite the physical and emotional distance between the brothers, their shared bond with Diana remained a unifying force. Both continued to honor her legacy in their own ways, whether through public speeches, charitable work, or personal reflections. The unveiling of a statue in Diana's memory at Kensington Palace in 2021 was a poignant moment, bringing William and Harry together to celebrate their mother's life. It served as a reminder that despite their differences, they were united in their love for Diana and their desire to keep her spirit alive. Through it all, the lessons Diana taught her sons about compassion, resilience, and the power of connection continued to shape their lives. Her influence was evident not only in their work, but also in the way they navigated the complexities of their roles. For William, it meant balancing tradition with a modern sensibility. For Harry, it meant forging his own path while staying true to his values. Both approaches, though distinct, carried echoes of their mother's extraordinary legacy. Diana's sons, now grown men with families of their own, continue to be shaped by her enduring presence. As they navigate the challenges of public and private life, they carry with them the lessons she imparted, ensuring that her legacy lives on not just in their actions, but in the way they inspire others to embrace empathy and courage. As the years went on, Prince William and Prince Harry began to speak more openly about their mother, Princess Diana, and the enduring impact she had on their lives. Their decision to break the royal family's long-standing tradition of emotional reserve resonated deeply with the public. By sharing their personal stories, the brothers not only honored Diana's memory, but also fostered a broader conversation about grief, resilience, and mental health. In 2017, the 20th anniversary of Diana's death marked a turning point. William and Harry participated in a documentary titled Diana, Our Mother, Her Life and Legacy, offering a rare glimpse into their private reflections on her life. For many, it was the first time they saw the princes as sons, speaking candidly about the woman who had shaped their values and provided them with a foundation of love and kindness. William described her as the best mother in the world, recalling how she filled their lives with laughter and joy. Harry, too, shared memories of Diana's warmth, her sense of humor, and her unwavering belief in the power of compassion. The documentary also brought to light the brothers' regrets about the last time they spoke to their mother. Harry's words about their final phone call, cut short by the distractions of childhood play, were particularly heartbreaking. "If I'd known that that was the last time I was going to speak to my mother," he said, his voice heavy with emotion, "the things I would have said to her." The honesty of that moment struck a chord with viewers around the world, reminding everyone of the human side of royalty. William and Harry's willingness to discuss their grief marked a shift not only for them but also for the monarchy. Historically, the royal family had adhered to the "never complain, never explain" motto, which often left personal struggles unspoken. By opening up about their emotions, the princes challenged this narrative, showing that vulnerability could be a strength. Their actions also reflected Diana's influence. She, too, had defied royal norms by speaking openly about her mental health struggles and her experiences within the institution. In the years that followed, both brothers took on projects inspired by Diana's humanitarian spirit. William focused on initiatives aimed at improving mental health and addressing homelessness. His work with Heads Together, a campaign he co-founded with Catherine and Harry, sought to break the stigma surrounding mental health issues and encourage open dialogue. For William, these efforts were deeply personal, as they reflected his journey of healing and his desire to create a better world for his children. Harry's approach to preserving Diana's legacy was equally heartfelt, but took a more unconventional path. His establishment of the Invictus Games in 2014, a sporting event for wounded, injured, and sick servicemen and women, highlighted his dedication to supporting the military community. The Games became a platform for celebrating resilience and camaraderie, values Diana had championed throughout her life. Harry often spoke about how his mother's example inspired him to connect with people on a human level, bridging gaps and breaking down barriers. However, the public's fascination with William and Harry wasn't confined to their charitable efforts. Their personal lives, particularly their relationships, continued to be a focal point. While William's marriage to Catherine Middleton was widely celebrated as a modern royal love story, Harry's relationship with Meghan Markle brought both admiration and controversy. The media's treatment of Meghan bore unsettling similarities to the scrutiny Diana had endured, something Harry was acutely aware of. He often drew comparisons between the two women, noting their shared compassion, charisma, and struggles with an intrusive press. This connection to his mother became a driving force behind Harry's decision to protect his family at all costs. When he and Meghan announced their decision to step back from royal duties in 2020, it sent shockwaves through the institution. Dubbed Megxit by the press, the move was met with mixed reactions. Some saw it as a rejection of royal responsibilities, while others viewed it as an act of self-preservation, echoing Diana's own efforts to carve out a life beyond the confines of the monarchy. Harry later explained that the choice was not made lightly, but was rooted in a desire to prioritize mental health and family well-being. In interviews, he spoke candidly about the parallels between Meghan's experiences and his mother's, emphasizing the need to break cycles of pain and trauma. His words highlighted a recurring theme in Diana's legacy: the courage to defy expectations in pursuit of personal truth. Meanwhile, William's role as the future king continued to evolve. His dedication to his responsibilities remained steadfast, even as he sought to modernize the monarchy. He embraced a hands-on approach to parenting, often drawing from Diana's example to ensure his children experienced a sense of normalcy. Whether it was school runs or soccer matches, William prioritized his family, showing that tradition and relatability could coexist. Despite their shared devotion to Diana's legacy, the differences in William and Harry's paths began to strain their relationship. Reports of tension between the brothers surfaced, fueled by their contrasting views on duty and family. While William remained rooted in his role as a traditionalist, Harry's departure from royal life signaled a desire to forge his own identity. These differences, though challenging, underscored the complexities of navigating personal growth within the framework of royal expectations. The unveiling of a statue in Diana's honor at Kensington Palace in 2021 was a moment of reconciliation, albeit brief. The ceremony, which marked what would have been her 60th birthday, brought the brothers together in a shared act of remembrance. Their joint statement spoke of their love and admiration for their mother, calling her a force of good around the world. The image of William and Harry standing side by side, albeit with visible distance, reminded the public of the bond they once shared and the woman who had shaped them. As they continue to navigate their respective roles, William and Harry remain united by their commitment to Diana's legacy. Her influence is woven into their lives in ways both public and private, shaping the men they have become. For William, it means upholding the traditions of the monarchy while injecting it with the humanity Diana exemplified. For Harry, it means living authentically, even if it means challenging convention. Through their actions, the princes have ensured that Diana's story is not just one of tragedy, but one of resilience and hope. Her lessons about empathy, courage, and the power of connection live on in their work, their families, and their unwavering dedication to honoring her memory. As the world watched the lives of Prince William and Prince Harry unfold, their differences became increasingly apparent, but the unifying force of their mother's legacy remained a thread connecting their separate journeys. While their paths diverged, their shared love for Diana and their desire to keep her memory alive continued to shape their decisions, their actions, and even their challenges. For William, his life revolved around the growing responsibilities of being a future king. As he stepped into more prominent royal roles, his public persona began to reflect a blend of Diana's warmth and the monarchy's traditional gravitas. He took on causes close to his heart, many of which echoed Diana's priorities. The fight against homelessness, a cause Diana had championed passionately, became central to William's work. His recent launch of the Homewards Project aimed to combat homelessness in the UK, demonstrating his commitment to addressing systemic issues and fostering community solutions. William's focus extended to mental health, another area his mother had emphasized through her groundbreaking work. Together with Catherine, the Prince and Princess of Wales spearheaded initiatives like Heads Together, which sought to normalize conversations around mental health. Their efforts were deeply personal, influenced by their own experiences and a recognition of the societal need to break stigmas. William often credited Diana with instilling in him the courage to lead with empathy and openness, even within the constraints of royal protocol. Harry, meanwhile, found his footing in a path that defied royal tradition but remained true to his mother's values. After stepping back from his official duties, Harry settled in California with Meghan Markle and their children, carving out a new identity as a humanitarian and advocate for mental health. His projects, from the Invictus Games to his partnership with mental health organizations, reflected a desire to connect with people on a human level, a hallmark of Diana's approach to life. While the public viewed these paths as starkly different, those closest to the brothers understood the deeper similarities in their motivations. Both William and Harry were driven by a desire to make a positive impact, albeit in contrasting ways. William worked within the system to modernize it, while Harry sought to build a life beyond its limitations. This duality underscored the complexity of their relationship, a bond rooted in shared history, but tested by differing perspectives. The rift between the brothers became a focal point for the media, with reports of strained communication and contrasting priorities dominating headlines. Harry's interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2021, where he spoke about his struggles within the royal family and Meghan's experiences, further illuminated the growing distance. His candid remarks, though criticized by some, highlighted a recurring theme: the pressure to reconcile personal happiness with public duty. For William, these revelations were challenging to process. As someone deeply invested in the institution of the monarchy, He found himself navigating a delicate balance between familial loyalty and his role as a future king. While he refrained from public rebuttals, his commitment to maintaining stability within the royal family was evident. This quiet approach contrasted with Harry's more outspoken stance, underscoring the different ways the brothers dealt with conflict. Amid these tensions, their mother's influence remained a touchstone. Both brothers often spoke about how Diana's experiences informed their views on the media, privacy, and family dynamics. William, in particular, was determined to protect his children from the intense scrutiny he and Harry had endured. He and Catherine worked to provide their children with a semblance of normalcy, ensuring they experienced life beyond the palace gates. Harry's relationship with the media was more adversarial, shaped by the parallels he drew between Meghan's treatment and Diana's struggles. He frequently cited his mother's experiences as a cautionary tale, emphasizing the importance of breaking cycles of harm. His decision to step back from royal life was, in many ways, an effort to shield his family from the pressures that had so profoundly impacted Diana. Despite their differences, moments of unity emerged, often tied to events honoring Diana's legacy. The unveiling of the statue at Kensington Palace was one such occasion, bringing William and Harry together in a shared act of remembrance. Though their interactions were reserved, the gesture itself spoke volumes about their enduring respect for their mother and her influence on their lives. Beyond the statue, both brothers continued to find ways to honor Diana individually. William's advocacy for vulnerable populations and his efforts to modernize the monarchy echoed Diana's mission to bring compassion into the royal institution. Harry's work with marginalized communities and his focus on mental health reflected her belief in the power of connection and healing. These endeavors, though separate, painted a collective picture of Diana's legacy, one that transcended her life and continued to inspire her sons. Their personal lives also mirrored Diana's lessons in unique ways. William's marriage to Catherine exemplified the stability and partnership Diana had longed for, while Harry's relationship with Meghan demonstrated a willingness to challenge conventions in pursuit of love and happiness. Both brothers sought to instill Diana's values in their children, ensuring her spirit lived on in the next generation. As time passed, the narrative surrounding William and Harry began to shift. While their differences remained, there was an increasing recognition of the shared challenges they faced. The world saw two men shaped by a unique upbringing, navigating the complexities of royalty and personal identity. Their relationship, though tested, was rooted in a mutual understanding of their mother's influence and the impact of her absence. In interviews, both brothers continued to reflect on Diana's legacy, often describing her as their guiding force. William spoke of her as a beacon of compassion and strength, someone who taught him the importance of duty balanced with humanity. Harry described her as his greatest source of inspiration, someone who lived authentically and left an indelible mark on the world. These reflections offered glimpses into the depth of their connection to Diana, reminding the public of the enduring bond that linked them. Through their words and actions, William and Harry ensured that Diana's story remained a vital part of their lives and the broader cultural narrative. Her lessons, from embracing vulnerability to advocating for change, continued to shape their choices and their impact. As they looked to the future, both brothers carried forward her legacy in their own ways, proving that her influence was as timeless as her memory. As time marched on, the lives of Prince William and Prince Harry continued to evolve, with each brother carving his distinct path while remaining tied to the legacy of their mother, Princess Diana. Their journeys, though different in scope and direction, remained deeply rooted in the values she instilled: compassion, resilience, and a dedication to making a meaningful impact on the world. For William, his role as the Prince of Wales brought with it a renewed sense of purpose. He stepped confidently into the responsibilities of preparing for kingship, blending modern sensibilities with the traditions of the monarchy. Diana's influence was evident in his approach to leadership. He prioritized connection over formality, whether engaging with young people on mental health issues or meeting with families affected by homelessness. These moments, often marked by a warm and genuine demeanor, echoed Diana's ability to make everyone she met feel seen and valued. William's vision for the monarchy centered on relevance and relatability, a delicate balance in an institution steeped in centuries of tradition. He understood that the royal family's future depended on its ability to adapt while maintaining its core values. As a father, he was equally committed to raising his children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, with an understanding of their privilege and the responsibilities that came with it. He often spoke of Diana's legacy as a guiding force in his parenting, ensuring her spirit was a presence in their lives even though they never had the chance to know her. Meanwhile, Harry's life in California unfolded on a different stage, one far removed from the royal traditions of his upbringing. Together with Meghan Markle, he built a life focused on advocacy and personal fulfillment. Their work, from the creation of the Archewell Foundation to partnerships with organizations promoting mental health, reflected a commitment to causes close to their hearts. For Harry, the opportunity to live authentically, without the constraints of royal duties, was a continuation of Diana's legacy of courage and individuality. However, living outside the royal fold did not mean escaping the challenges tied to their shared history. Harry often spoke of the pressures that came with stepping away from his royal role, acknowledging the complexities of navigating a new identity while maintaining ties to his family. His memoir, Spare, offered an unprecedented glimpse into his life, laying bare the struggles and triumphs that had shaped him. While some of his revelations sparked controversy, they also highlighted the enduring influence of Diana, who had always championed honesty and self-expression. As William and Harry pursued their separate paths, their relationship remained a subject of intense public scrutiny. Reports of rifts and disagreements often overshadowed moments of unity, fueling speculation about the state of their bond. Yet, despite these challenges, their shared commitment to Diana's memory provided glimpses of reconciliation. Whether through joint appearances or individual tributes, the brothers consistently emphasized their love and respect for their mother and her enduring impact on their lives. Diana's legacy continued to resonate in the causes they championed and the ways they sought to inspire change. William's focus on environmental sustainability and mental health, and Harry's dedication to social justice and support for veterans, showcased the breadth of her influence. These efforts were not only a tribute to her life, but also a reflection of her belief in using privilege to uplift others. In the public eye, William and Harry were often portrayed as symbols of the monarchy's future and its evolution. William, with his steady leadership and emphasis on family values, represented the continuity of tradition. Harry, with his willingness to challenge norms and embrace modernity, embodied the possibility of reinvention. Together, they offered a dynamic vision of what Diana's sons could achieve, both within and outside the institution she once struggled to navigate. The unveiling of Diana's statue at Kensington Palace remained a powerful reminder of their shared history and the bond that, despite its strains, linked them forever. Standing together to honor their mother, the brothers showed the world that her legacy was bigger than their differences. The image of William and Harry side by side, even in their distinct paths, was a poignant symbol of unity in the face of life's complexities. In private, the lessons Diana imparted continued to guide them. Both brothers spoke of how her warmth and humanity shaped their perspectives, influencing not only their work, but also their personal relationships. For William, this meant fostering a stable and supportive family environment with Catherine and their children. For Harry, it meant building a life with Meghan where authenticity and compassion were at the forefront. As the years unfolded, William and Harry's lives remained intertwined with Diana's story. Her legacy was not just a chapter in their past, but a living influence on their present and future. They carried her lessons into everything they did, from raising their children to advocating for the causes she held dear. Through their efforts, they ensured that Diana's impact extended far beyond her lifetime, touching countless lives and inspiring new generations. In their own ways, William and Harry embodied the resilience and humanity that Diana had championed. They proved that her legacy was not defined by tragedy, but by the enduring power of love, empathy, and the courage to forge one's path. Whether in the halls of Buckingham Palace or under the Californian sun, her spirit lived on in her sons, a testament to the lasting mark she left on the world. The story of William and Harry is, at its heart, a story of connection. It is a tale of two brothers who, despite their differences, remain bound by the lessons of a remarkable woman. Through their struggles and triumphs, they honor her memory, ensuring that her legacy continues to shine as a beacon of hope and inspiration for all. Princess Anne has long been known for her commitment to royal duties and her discretion when it comes to personal matters. However, in a recent turn of events, she broke her silence on the subject of her late sister-in-law, Princess Diana, revealing thoughts that many never expected to hear. This unprecedented disclosure offers a fresh perspective on their relationship, shedding light on the complexities of life within the royal family. What prompted Anne to speak out now? And how does her account differ from the public perception of their bond? How might this change the way we view Diana's legacy and the monarchy's inner workings? Let's dive into it. Princess Anne has been a strong example of calmness in the British royal family for many years. She is known for being tough and having an unmatched work ethic, which is very different from her late sister-in-law, Princess Diana's glitz and glamour. Though they were related by blood, the two women showed two very different sides of the monarchy. Anne was the personification of custom and duty, and Diana was the personification of weakness and public connection. The world was captivated by Diana's fairy tale wedding to Prince Charles from the time she became a princess in 1981. But behind the shiny exterior, things were not going well within the royal family. Princess Anne, who was a seasoned royal with a strong sense of tradition at the time, was on stage with someone who had a very different view of royal life than she did. Anne liked to keep her head down and do her work, but Diana loved being in front of the cameras and built a relationship with the public that the royal family had never seen before. People often had different ideas about how Anne and Diana's friendship worked because of these differences. The media made it seem like Anne, who already had a character for being blunt and quiet, didn't like how Diana was showing her feelings and wanting to be in the spotlight. The tabloids talked about possible friction between the two, making it seem like they were cold and competitive. But it's likely that the truth was much more complicated than the headlines made it seem. As soon as Diana joined the royal family, big changes began to happen in the organization. Her charm was so strong that it drew more attention than ever before to both herself and the kingdom as a whole. The public's excitement about Diana didn't seem to affect Anne, though. She thought that the media show was just something that took her attention away from the real point of being a royal, to serve. At the time, reports said that Anne's realistic and almost rude personality might not have gotten along with Diana's sensitive one, so there was a natural gap between them. But this story of anger didn't show how complicated their relationship really was. Anne never minced words or got too emotional, but there were times when she and the man seemed to admire each other. People said that Anne's shyness often made it hard for her to understand the stresses of royal life. Diana was dealing with these stresses on a level that had never been seen before and was overwhelming. The years went by and Diana's problems became clearer. Her fairy tale romance with Prince Charles started to fall apart. By the late 1980s, the public could see that their relationship was having problems. Anne knew how hard this was on Diana because she worked for the royal family and knew how things worked there. As she usually does, she kept quiet and didn't say anything about her sister-in-law in public. Anne thought that family issues should stay inside the palace walls and that they should never be talked about in public. The difference in how they dealt with the media made this gap even bigger. Diana was able to use the press in a way that no one else could. She created an image of being approachable and caring that made millions of people love her. Anne, on the other hand, was known for being very wary of reporters and often saw them as strangers rather than friends. It wasn't a secret that she didn't like the media, which probably helped her decide to stay out of the press whenever Diana's name came up. Behind closed doors, things were getting worse for the royal family. The way people loved Diana was both good and bad. While it made the government more well-known, it also showed how weak it really was. For Anne, who had always put job ahead of her own feelings, the media's focus on personal issues may have felt intrusive and hard to handle. This change in how people saw the royal family brought about new problems, especially for Anne, who had long avoided showing the kind of emotional weakness Diana did so publicly. By the early 1990s, Charles and Diana's relationship had gone from being a dream come true to a public show of sadness and scandal. Anne was always a realist, so she probably had mixed feelings about what was going on. Even though Anne might not have liked how Diana took her problems to the public, there's no doubt that she knew how hard it was for Diana, maybe even better than most people. Anne had felt that stress herself, though in a different way. when she was growing up in a home where duty often came before fun. During these rough years, Anne's silence said a lot. She didn't support or criticize Diana, which seemed like a move to keep the family's good name. But their stoicism left room for interpretation, which made the tabloids even more interested in the supposedly ongoing fight. Anne believed in royal caution, so her actions, or lack thereof, supported that view. However, they unintentionally added to the idea that she didn't care about Diana's situation. When Diana's marriage to Charles ended for good in 1996, everyone became very interested in her life. In its own way, this time must have been hard for Anne. Seeing a family member go through so much public attention and personal pain probably made them feel a lot of different things, but they didn't say any of them out loud. Anne's determination to protect the monarchy's honor did not waver, even as the institution itself looked more and more at risk. Anne's true thoughts about this time didn't come out until many years later. People used to think of her silence as aloofness, but it could have been that she had a greater understanding of how hard things were for Diana. Between family duty, royal duty, and how people saw her, Anne had to find a delicate balance that she had spent her whole life learning.